Hello everyone, welcome to Viti Pathshala. Good evening to all of you. And we will be starting the economics part and ninth class economics we are going to start. And in ninth class also, we would be studying first the unit number 1. So what would be our objective, learning objective? So our learning objective would be the understanding the development, the perspective, measurement, and the sustainability. Now, to know the meaning of the development from different perspectives, to know the indicators of the economic development, now to understand the meaning of the economic development, and to know the policies for the sustainable development. Now, first, we will begin with the introduction to the chapter. Now, the word development is used widely. It refers to the progress of a particular field or a particular person. So, what does this word development means? It means that the development or a progress in a particular field or in a particular person. Now, similarly, the economic progress of a country is known as the economic development. However, the interpretation of the concept development keeps on changing from time to time, from person to person, and its meaning it gets extended further. So this concept, this word development, it keeps on changing from time to time, from person to person, and from it is meaning is get extended further. So let's start with the first thing, that is the different perspective about the development. Now these things they are covered, they comes under your macroeconomics. Now different perspective of the about the development. Every human being has an ambition or desire of his or her own to achieve progress in life. सो हर एक व्यक्ति जो है अपनी लाइफ में प्रोग्रेस चाहता है, ही वांटेड टू डेवलप, he wanted to progress further. Now similarly we have idea about how a country should progress. Now if our thinking turns towards the progress and about the ways to achieve the many goals for the progress, it leads to the development. So let's us imagine what development means to the different people. So, for some people, development can be the growing progress in a needed direction. For some, it may be a way of the moving forward. Now, for some, it may be the not doing the same mistake twice. For example, if you do not repeat your mistakes in the UPSC exam, it may also be a development for you. Then it may be a part of daily life. Daily you are developing. From the previous day to the next day, you see yourself advancing. Then technology is advancing, our society is advancing. Now growth within related to your thoughts. Then comes is the never ending process. What is development? Development is a never ending process. Then it is bettering yourself. Then freedom to grow. Then development is progress. Development is the improvement. Now such type of the chart you can make in your UPSC exam मेंस में आप ऐसा ड्रॉ कर सकते हो. Now from the above chart you will notice that other than income, people seek freedom to grow on their own. Thus, the development it refers to the improvement in the quality of life. So, what does the development means? Development means the improvement in the quality of life, such as the higher income, better education, better health and nutrition, less poverty, and more equal opportunity. Now the term economic development, in with the reference of the economic development, we means overall growth of the all the sectors. So economy is concerned with your the economic sectors. So development, economic development would mean the overall growth of the all sectors of the economy. What are the sectors? Primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. All these sectors, if they develop, the economy is developing. Now economy by adoption of the new technology. Now economic development, it improves the living standard of the people as well as the status of the country. So living standard as well as the status of the country. Now what are the indicators of the economic development? So the major indicators of the economic development are net national product, NNP, then per capita income, then purchasing power parity, and the human development index. So these words, I thought that you have heard them earlier also, and we will be reading them in detail. Now, final money value of total goods and the services that are produced within a geographic boundary of a country during a specified period of time. Normally it is a 1 year. That is known as your gross domestic product. मतलब कि जो भी गुड्स और सर्विसेज एक साल के अंदर, जो एक स्पेसिफिक टाइम जो कि आपका एक साल है, एंड डेट एक ज्योग्राफिकल बाउंड्री जो कि इंडिया में जो प्रोडक्ट्स बन रहे हैं उसको जो है ग्रोस डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट बोलते हैं. फिर से मैं आपको कह रहा हूं, द फाइनल वैल्यू किसकी, द फाइनल वैल्यू ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज फॉर 1 year that is produced in one geographical boundary, and that is known as the GDP. Remember this definition. This is very important in the economics because you hear this word GDP many times in the newspaper or the news. Now, next comes is the net national product. So, what is this net national product? Now, net national product is considered as true measure of the national output. It is known as the national income भी बोलते हैं इसको. Now, a rise in the per capita income, it means an rise in the aggregate real output. तो जैसे ही आपकी पर कैपिटा इनकम बढ़ेगी, it means that your there is increase in the aggregate real output also. Now hence this is better indicator than the national income for measuring the development. Now, for measuring a country's development, its income is considered to be one of the most important factors. So, किसी भी देश के डेवलपमेंट के लिए मेजर करने के लिए क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है, इनकम. अगर इनकम इंक्रीज हो रही है, इफ द इनकम इज इंक्रीजिंग, द कंट्री इज डेवलपिंग. Now, countries with higher income are considered to be more developed than those with the lesser income. Now, if we compare the USA and the Nepal, so what you will see that the economy in terms of the money, the USA's economy is much more than the an economy of the Nepal. So if we compare both, so if I have to point them, so if economy of the US is 100%, then Nepal is only 5%. So this is an example. Now, so income itself is considered to be one of the indicators of the economic development. Now, next comes as the per capita income. Now, however, for comparing the development of the various countries, total income is not satisfactory measure. Now, since countries have different population, comparing the total income will not suggestive of what an average person is likely to earn, as people in one country are better off than other in a different country. Now, the average income is calculated by dividing the country's total income by its total population. Now this is very important. So average income कैसे calculate होगी? Divide the country's total income by its total population. You will get the average income of that country. The average income, उसी को हम क्या बोलते हैं? Per capita income. So remember here कि per capita income क्या होती है? वो average income ही होती है. Now, dividing the country's total income by its population, you will derive the per capita income. Calculations on the per capita income of all countries are calculated in US dollar in order to compare the international level. So, US dollar में हम उनको निकालते हैं और फिर countries के level को देखते हैं. We see the level of the countries. Now, per capita income, according to the World Bank report, new income measurement of countries are classified as. So, what are the low income countries? Which have the less than 1,005 US dollar per capita income. Lower middle income 1,006 to the 3,955. Then upper middle 3,956 to the 12,235, and the high income are which have the above 12,235. Now this was the per capita income. Next topic is your the purchasing power parity. So अगला आपका टॉपिक है वो है purchasing power parity. Now, what do you mean by purchasing power parity? It is defined as the number of units of a country's currency required to buy. So, I'm going slow. Number of units. किसी भी country की number of units that are required. Country's currency. Number of units of the country's currency that is required to buy the same amount of goods and the services in the domestic market as a dollar would buy in the US. So remember one thing here, the US dollar. So we are comparing here the US dollar with a country's currency. मीन्स आपको कितने पैसे चाहिए होंगे, हाउ मच मनी ऑफ इंडियन करेंसी यू रिक्वायर टू बाय अ प्रोडक्ट इन इंडिया एंड एज कंपेयर टू द डॉलर, मतलब कि आपको डॉलर कितना चाहिए एंड हाउ मच द, फॉर एग्जांपल you wanted to take the Zoom app subscription. Now Zoom app subscription, it cost $199. So in India, if we convert it in the rupees, so approx 200, you charge it 200 into 60. So approx 12,000 rupees you require to buy the subscription of the Zoom classes or the Zoom software. So this is the purchasing power parity. Wait for Raja, exam is coming. Example I have given. Wait for everything. Everything will be there. Now, the technique is of the purchasing power parity. It allows us to estimate what exchange between two currencies is needed to express the accurate purchasing power of two currencies in respective countries. Now, remember that recently India became the third largest. India became the third largest economy in terms of the purchasing power parity. China became the largest, defeating the US to the second position. Now, next comes is your human development. Now, what do you mean by human development? In human development, and every year you have the human development index you see in the current affairs. Now, human development or the human resource is necessary for the progress of any country. Now, the term human resource, it refers to the collective ability of people which can be utilized in production sector. So, human resource means that how many people are there which can work as the producers, so which can produce the something which can provide goods and the services. Now that ultimately will lead to the rise in the GDP. Human resource, it helps to increase the GDP. So if we say that the we should employ the woman in the working, so if we employ the woman, if we give same opportunity to the woman, a country's GDP will rise. हम ये बोलते हैं कि अगर महिलाएं भी काम करेंगी पुरुषों के साथ तो एक देश की जो है जीडीपी वो राइज होगी. सो we required human resource. Now, human resource development means the development of the person's physical and the mental ability through education, healthcare, and the training. Now, therefore, investment in the education and the health of the people can result in the high rate of the returns in the future for a country. Now, why our prime minister is focusing on more on the youth, more on the children? Why he is emphasizing more on the health? He has come with the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, which have shown a tremendous result. Now, if you will see our maternal mortality rate (MMR), it has been improved. It was in the July's current affair. Then if you see that the India has been developing and the new education policy, it will increase the standards of the education in the country. So the focus is on the youth so that a country can develop. And the health policy, national health policy, it focuses on the nutrition policy, it focuses on the developing the human resource. For example, if a child is invested with the good education and the health, he or she may turn to be very productive in future in the form of the higher earning and greater contribution to the society. Now, in the today's newspaper, there was an article in the Indian Express. If you will see, there was a hackathon, or you can say that there was a challenge that was put forward by the Ministry of the Electronics and the Information Technology as the Digital India Grand Challenge. And a person from the Kerala, he has won that challenge. So that person, he has opened earlier a technical company. Now that company, his company has won that 1 crore rupees prize, and he is challenging the Zoom. So more improved application than the Zoom he has made. So if the government will invest in the education and the health, the human development or the human resource will increase. Now, Human Development Index, which indicates all round development of the people in the society. Now, for those people who are aspiring for the 2021 exam, do read newspaper. Go through the newspaper once daily yourself. Do not rely on these website, these portals for the easy understanding. Do read yourself, because in CSET you need the comprehension passage would be there, and in compulsory English paper would be there. And apart from that, you have to write good answers, and for writing a good answers in the main essay, writing good essay, you require to read things yourself, and you should know the perspective. So read either Indian Express or either Hindu, but do daily for those who are 2021. And apart from that, start reading recital. Now every month, give 2 days to read the recital booklet. Only 2 days is required to complete recital at the end of the month. Now, in the past, economists believed that the rate of the economic growth of the nations could be increased only by increasing the investment in the physical capital. Now, but they have realized over the time that the investment in the human capital is important than the investment in the physical capital. The Ministry of the Human Resource Development, it is responsible for the development of the human resource Resources in India. Now, its headquarters is situated in the Shastri Bhavan in the New Delhi. Now, one more thing, I am also doing the recital and I will be providing you the audio. So, not the videos would not be available, audio would be provided. I have completed the July one and I have posted in the group. You can listen to that. And but that is in Hindi medium only. So, it will benefit to those people only who are, because I am doing for the people who are in the 2020, appearing for the 2020 people. Now, next comes is the what is HDI, Human Development Index. Now, life expectancy at the birth, average education levels plus the literacy, adult literacy rates, and the standard of the living, GNI, and the capita PPP, triple P. Now, next topic is your about the sustainability of the development. Now, sustainable economic development is taken to mean development without damaging the environment. So, what is sustainable economical development means? In case you are developing the country, you are not damaging the environment and not compromising with the needs of the future generation. Now, there was also a news in the July's recital that you will find that the India has done so much and India is committed to the Paris Agreement. And there was a review meeting of the Paris Agreement, and in that meeting, India has again raised the concern that the developed countries, the developed countries should fulfill their credit, they should fulfill their duty. So that was there. So a development that is for the future generation. The consequences of the environmental degradation do not respect to the national or the state boundaries. Now, sustainability of the development is comparatively a new area of the knowledge in which the scientists, economists, philosophers, and the other social scientists are working together. Natural resources can be divided into renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Now, renewable resources, these are replenishable, that is the soul example, your solar energy. Then non-renewable resources are the non-replenishable, that is the coal and the petroleum. So India is committed to decrease the use of the coal and the petroleum and increase the use of the solar energy. Now you know that the Reva plant that has been become operational. Apart from that, we have the nuclear technology or the nuclear plant for the electricity we are using them, and the hydroelectricity is used. So these are the renewable resources. Now, groundwater is an example of the renewable resource. The question arises to how sustainable development is possible if the resources are overused rather than getting replenished. Now, non-renewable resources get exhausted after certain number of the years of extracting and using them, and they cannot be replenished. Now, literacy rate of the Tamil Nadu is the second highest among the southern states. Tamil Nadu literacy rate is higher than the national average. The enrollment of the higher education of the Tamil Nadu is the highest. So this data is for only those people who are appearing for the Tamil Nadu exams. Now, to achieve the real sustainability, we need to balance the economic, social, and environmental sustainability in equal harmony. Now, in general, the question of the development or progress is continuous. At all times, as a member of the society and as individuals, we need to ask where we want to go, what we wish to become, and what our goals are. Now they have shown you the data of the states and the parameters, and they have given the Tamil Nadu for those people who are aspiring for the Tamil Nadu exams. Now, literacy rate in the percentage of the 2011, that India overall India's literacy rate is 74.04. Then a sex ratio, that is the females per thousand males. So it is in India is 943 per thousand males. Now, enrollment in the higher education, you will find that the data shows that overall India, higher education, the people are only 24.5% only. Now, Niti Ayog, the source which we have taken this data, they have taken from the Niti Ayog. So these are the accurate data. You can quote these in the exam. Now, the natural resources are of two types, renewable resources and non-renewable resources. No, renewable resources are your minerals, fossil fuels, and the soil. Then renewable resources, the plants and the animals. Then a difference between the renewable and the non-renewable, they have shown you. The renewable resources are the replenishable resources. They are pollution free and the environment friendly. These resources take short time of the renewable. Now, example, solar energy, wind energy, water, wood, paper. Now, non-renewable resources are the non-replenishable resources which pollute and they damage the environment. Now, millions of the years are needed for the formation of these resources. Example, metal, the glass, fossil fuels, coal, petroleum, natural gas, diesel, etc. Now, where do you require this chapter? So in UPSC, this chapter is important in your GS3 portion. So remember that ये आपको GS3 में काम आएगा, मेंस में. Now next comes is the policy for the sustainable development. Now use of the non-conventional source of energy. India depends on thermal and the hydro power plants to meet its power need. So India at present, if we talk about it, is more focusing on more focus is on the thermal and the hydro, but we need a shift from these to the nuclear power, and more we are focusing on the solar energy. Both these resources have an adverse environmental impact. Thermal power plants emit the large quantities of the carbon dioxide and which pollute the environment. Now, these Paris Agreement or the Paris, that is the 2015 meeting. So these are related to the greenhouse gases emission and lower down the carbon dioxide को कैसे कम किया जाए. Now this is very important, solar power in the India, because the in the current affairs you will find this. Now solar power is the conservation of the energy from the sunlight into the electricity, either directly using the photovoltaic cells or indirectly using the concentrated solar power. Now, solar panels absorb the sunlight as a source of the energy to generate the electricity. A solar electric system can reliably produce electricity for our home and business owners to reduce the electricity cost. Now, solar powers in the India is the fastest developing industry. Now, remember the recent one, the Reva, that is in the your Madhya Pradesh. So it would be providing the electricity to the state, also to the discom companies. Now, Tamil Nadu is the state with the highest installed solar capacity in the India. Tamil Nadu is one of the leading solar power producing state in the India. As of the 31 July 2017, the total. So it is a previous data. So do check this data now because ये पुराना डाटा है तो अभी उसमें बहुत ज्यादा डेवलपमेंट हो गया पिछले 3 सालों में. So do check this once before quoting this. Now next comes is the environment policies in the India. This is very important. Environment policies in India have been evolved considerably over the past 3 decades. Now, these policies have covered a wide range of issues such as the air, water pollution, waste management, and the biodiversity conservation. India faces the challenges in the economic development, which has to be achieved with the limited resources, minimum externalities, and the presence of an uncertain climate. One of the approaches to overcome this challenge is through the path of the sustainable development. How can we achieve this? We can achieve through the sustainable development. The Supreme Court of India has interpreted and introduced the new changes in the environmental protection through a series of the direction and the judgment. So this is a very important thing for your exam point of view. Article 51A, subclause G of the Constitution, it states that it shall be the duty of every citizen of the India to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and have the compassion for the living creatures. So, if a question comes in the economics also or in the geography also, if there is an constitution provision that is related to that, do mention there itself. Now, development increases the quality of the life. This means that the people with the higher incomes, better education, better health and nutrition, less poverty, and the more equality of the opportunity. Now, these are very, very important, I will say, for your exam point of view. Now, these you have to mention. This will help you in the prelims plus the mains exams. Now, National Green Tribunal, there was a previous year question of the UPSC also 2010. The action is that the environmental protection and the conservation of the forest and other natural resources. Now, Biological Diversity Act 2002 to provide for the conservation of the biological diversity, the Environmental Protection Act 1986. Now, do remember these also, the year also, these are also very important because UPSC can give you in the arranging them in the sequence. Environmental Protection Act 1986, providing the protection and the improvement in of the environment. Forest Conservation Act 1980 check deforestation and encourage the afforestation of non-forest areas, water prevention and the control of the pollution. It provides the maintenance and the restoration and the qualities of the all types of the surface and the groundwater. Then comes is the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, providing the protection to the wild animals and the birds. So this was in this chapter. Now in the next chapter, we would be going to study about the next chapter, that is the our it is related to employment in India. So it is a small chapter and we will be completing in 20 minutes. There is a new link that I would be providing you. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you, that if you are thorough with the Tamil Nadu SCRT, these books plus the books I have provided you of the La Axing Coaching Center, those and plus recital. Now that will equal to your UPSC. You would be able to clear with this much studies. So Tamil Nadu, if you have are thorough with these three things, you would able to easily able to clear the exam. So I am ending this class and we will be meeting with the new link, the next link, that is your the 78th class.